We're back. Yeah, tonight's episode, Rise and Fall of Deathrow Records, man. We're here. Let's get it started. What's happening tonight, people? It's your boy, Zilla, CFO of Platinum Boy Records. This is the Unspoken Word Podcast. Yeah, I know y'all think, oh man, they've been gone for a minute, but we back, man. You know, we had to take a little break, had a little thing going on, you know what I'm saying? Had a little thing. Hold on. Joined by my CEO, co-host.
What's up? It's the boy, the one and only, the chaotic one. What it do, my people? We've been on a hiatus, but we haven't been on a hiatus because we've been getting our work in and work on, you know what I'm saying? But we back right now, and this is season number 2, episode number 5 of the Unspoken Word Podcast. What's up?
What's happening? Yeah. How's everybody out there doing tonight, man?
Man, how you doing, brother?
Man, I'm good, brother. I'm good. Back for another episode. Back for another season. It's been lovely.
CFO.
Yeah. The showcase, the label party was off the chain. If you missed it, July 17th, man, we was in Atlanta. Did it big, man. We did it big. It was an epic event. So if you missed it,
you missed
catch it on Facebook, catch it on IG. We're running it all day long for you, Pepper.
Right.
Go to PBMworldwide.com. You can see all the artists, all the performers, the interviews,
everything.
Yeah. Yes.
But today, we back and we talking about the rise and the fall of a major powerhouse record label, and that's Deathrow Records. Deathrow.
Yeah.
Deathrow.
For all y'all out there in IG, Facebook, I'm really talking to my 40 and over crew. Deathrow was a major powerhouse back in the 90s, led by no other than Marion Suge Knight, along with Dr. Dre.
It was started in 1992. 1992, to be exact. As a matter of fact, February 25th, 1992, to be exact, is when it was started.
Yeah, major artists is on there. Major, man. I mean, one of the record labels that jumped on the scene quick, caught fire just like that.
Yeah. But so I mean, that's the front. We know that, but the thing is, what for you know, I know you said the 40 and over club, but for the youngins, you got to school some of them that might not know, you know, who Suge Knight was, who Dr. Dre was. You know, you got to give a little, you know, play-by-play of who these people are.
Run down to who Suge was. Suge was actually a very intelligent young man. He went to college on a football scholarship, did a major stint in the NFL with the Los Angeles Rams, but mainly got his name and his reputation as a bodyguard. His first assignment was Bobby Brown.
Right.
He bodyguard for Bobby Brown for a minute. Numerous people at that time, as he was learning the business of the music industry.
Right.
Who really got him in and hooked on was the DOC. He took over management for DOC.
Hold on, for those that don't know, DOC is another legendary rapper from Dallas, Texas. that came into. He was actually signed to Ruthless Records first.
Right.
But go ahead.
Yeah.
Suge Knight basically was like he was managing him, wasn't he? Or
yeah,
was
he was
managing
when he was managing him at the time, but DOC took it a step further as he was bothered by some of the things that were going on in Ruthless Records as far as not getting paid for all the ghostwriting he was doing.
Right.
So he required the help of Marion Suge Knight to look over his contract.
Right.
And at that time, like I said, Suge was up and coming in the music industry, took a look at DOC contract and noticed that he wasn't getting paid fairly for what he was doing.
Right.
So at that time, DOC and Dr. Dre were real tight. And when he hollered at Marion, he actually hollered at Dre too, like, hey man, I know somebody can get you out of your contract, get you right and stuff. And that's when Suge and Dr. Dre hooked up. He gets Dr. Dre up out the Ruthless contract, started Deathrow.
But I mean, to be fair with the story and the add on though, at first Dre was skeptical about leaving Ruthless. He didn't actually want to leave Ruthless. And one of the first people that left, that's a whole story in itself. I'm just kind of giving an overlay of him actually not at first wanting to leave. And then over a little bit of time, because of what Ice Cube went through,
Right.
he kind of opened his eyes and finally did go to Suge and say, hey, can you look over my papers? And then they, of course, teamed up to start their legacy. But go ahead, go ahead.
So, as I've been thought, Suge, Dr. Dre formed Deathrow, turned it into a powerhouse right off the bat. I mean, very strong crew right off the back, man. You had Snoop Dogg jumping out the scene at the time.
No, actually, The Chronic was the first project. Dr. Dre was actually the first project on Deathrow Records. But you're kind of forgetting a little bit though, because Deathrow was started by Suge, but it was funded
by Michael Harris, Kingpin. Yeah.
Jumps to some of that they got to know initially where it all started and where it came from, which was Godfather Entertainment. That was the first.
Mike, you run down on Michael. Michael Harris was a drug kingpin out of LA, one of the biggest in the US at the time. He and Suge were pretty good friends. I wouldn't say they were close allies, but he did give Suge the money to start up Deathrow at that point in time.
Yeah. Harry O just got out of jail too.
He did just get released a few months back.
I know he had to end up suing them for several $1 million. I know, from what I know, his wife was like a singer or something. Was trying to get her in the industry, and somebody told him, I'm trying to think who it was. I can't remember. Somebody had told him he should get Dr. Dre to produce.
DOC.
Yeah, somebody. Yeah.
I just looked at the document. It was DOC who told him to go talk to Dr. Dre, because Dr. Dre was in the same, bind I was in when he looked over DOC's contract. Because that's who it really started out with. It started out with DOC and Suge. Suge managed DOC, and DOC was complaining about he wasn't getting paid right. And that's when Suge looked over his contract.
Right.
And at the same time, DOC and Dr. Dre were real tight.
Yeah.
That was Dre's first protege.
Yeah.
Until he got injured.
Yeah. In the car accident back.
Yeah, in the car accident. Yeah, lost his voice.
After his first classic album, what was it, Formula?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to what you were saying. Chronic actually was the first album that came out on Deathrow Records.
Yeah, and Suge, he had, like I say, got reputations of getting stuff that he want out of people by using force if he had to.
Right.
I remember. You remember the artist Vanilla Ice? Yeah. That was the first person Suge squeezed the money out of.
And the funny part on that, right, is that they saying that dude didn't even really write the music. They talking about they just gangstered or homie out of his little paper.
Yeah, out of his contract. But he told the story. He was like, he didn't get hung over a balcony, but he was standing on one. But he knew what Suge meant.
Yeah, I seen him too. I seen the interview. He was like, man, everywhere I was going, this guy kept popping up on me. It was like, everywhere I'm going, this dude just kept popping up. And then
so he entered this hotel in Beverly Center, and there was Suge sitting in his room already with 5 guys.
Yeah.
So his bodyguard, shut up and stand over in the corner.
Right.
Let me not let you for a second. But yeah, Deathrow became a powerhouse in '92, man. Summer '92, and man, they took the U.S. by storm. Man, they took the world by storm.
They did. Yeah.
I think that was one of the fastest growing record labels I had seen since I've been knowing hip hop. Yeah. And I'm talking about when they came out the gate, they took the reins for a minute.
Right. Yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah, they took it from the East Coast and they ran with the time, but
because I know Snoop did end up initially influencing people like Biggie, So I know that there was a force to be reckoned with as far as the record label go,
And like I said, they kicked off. Everything was going smooth. They was making music, man. They was putting out artists. They was, they was making a name for themselves. But in the backside of it, man, it was a lot of heat going on that a lot of people didn't know, man. Suge was a real life mob figure back in the days, man. Back in the '90s, I'm talking about a man you didn't want to see. Put it that way. You didn't want to see Suge coming. Dead serious.
Well, but would you say though later it came though? Because a lot of people said that Suge was a humble dude at first. Like
cool. It was kind of a half and half, but a lot of people didn't really say in those early days before he really got Deathrow running, man, Suge was causing noise. He was really making noise in that industry. As far as being a manager, being a bodyguard, and being, you might well say, being an enforcer. Because he was wreaking havoc on some people, man.
Right.
He was like a bigger than life figure.
Right.
For real.
Right.
And his demise is what causes his downfall. Everything that you do comes back around to bite you, and then did. But throughout them making all the music and stuff, they were a force to be reckoned with. But the beef that they had with the East Coast rivalries, as far as back,
can you see the man? Can you see the man? Yeah, that's the man we talking about right there for the people that might not know.
Yeah.
That's Marion Suge Knight right there. I just wanted to stop that and let y'all see who he was.
So at that time, Suge making the name for himself on the West Coast, Bad Boys making the name for themselves on the East Coast.
Right.
And you got two larger than life figures with their own mind and their own way of doing things.
Right.
It just didn't come together, just didn't clash together. And what the particular thing I'm talking about is the Source Awards. We really kicked the whole so-called East Coast, West Coast beef off. Because Suge gets up on stage and telling all the talent in New York, you don't want your manager all in the videos, dancing
all on the record.
Yes.
And come to Deathrow.
And boy, that's, oh man, I never forget it. Because I remember that like it was yesterday.
But see, a side note that I want to share that people don't know is that Suge and Puff really had a long stemming beef before the Source.
Right.
Really started from down there where you at, cuz.
Yeah, actually, cuz I can give you regulations on that whole incident. It was a party Jermaine Dupri threw down here. It was back in '94. And come to think of it, you'll never believe too, at the same time that was going on, that shooting that Tupac did with those undercover officers actually collided the same. But the only thing was the Tupac incident got overshadowed by the incident between Suge and Puffy. Mm-hmm. It was Suge and Puffy was invited to a party thrown by Jermaine Dupri. Mm-hmm. Now, Puffy's entourage got into it with Suge's bodyguard, which was Suge's best friend. Some words exchanged, some gunfire loaded, smoke clears, Suge's bodyguard is dead. And he blamed Puffy.
Because, Puffy's homeboy is the one that supposed to, he was working as a security, but I can't think of his name. He was in the picture before Big Gene Deal was in the picture. But I can't think of his name, but it was one of Puffy's personal friends, and that's why Suge took it personal to Puff. So that's really the long stemming beef that a lot of people might not know was going on between Puff and them. So fast forward to the Source Awards, that was him throwing fuel on the fire, if you want to say. You know what I mean? Like, he initiated a whole, cuz, and it's funny because on that same show, on another side note, is when Outkast classically got up there and said those famous words, the South got something to say. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, man, it wasn't too long after that. You know what I mean? That they came and crushed the buildings, like Snoop said in the song. They came through, the South came through and crushed the buildings.
But back after that, it was on, man. It was on. Not actually, it really wasn't, because Tupac wasn't really in the building then. He had his own problems going on at that time. But how it got linked up was Tupac got sent up for a rape charge. He was doing, I think it was 4 years on $1 million bail.
Right there, that was right after he got shot.
Right after he got shot at the Quad Studios.
Okay.
And it was Snoop who got in Suge's ear like, man, go get Pop, man. Go get Pop. Can complete Death Row and make us real powerhouses.
Right.
So Suge on the order
hold on, cuz you're getting ahead of yourself, man. You getting ahead of the history. You giving already through the end, man. You ain't told about.
I ain't even got to the end, man. This is the middle.
No, I'm saying you are wrong, but I'm saying, son, you down there towards the end, and you ain't even gave them dog pound, or you ain't talking about none of them.
But it's not about dog pound. It's about death row. It's about Suge.
They all are part of.
Yeah, I know. Let me get to that. You're not letting me get to that.
All right,
Do you want me to? Do you want to run the story, or do you want me to run it?
I want you to run it, but I'm just saying,
okay. And now where was I? Yeah, on the demise of Snoop Dogg, advising Suge to go grab Tupac. He did it. So in the midst of grabbing Tupac, you gotta look at two people hating the same people on the East Coast. Was a good part of Suge plan, because Suge was a good at being a manipulator, pitting you against the people that he thought did you wrong. Same thing he did with Dre. Look at Dre when he came to Death Row. How he didn't really have beef with Easy. He just wanted the same money as Easy was getting. He didn't really have beef. But when Suge went and squashed that contract, manipulated Dre into, hey man, Easy ain't your boy. Put this out on him. Put that out on. You know, look how it played out in Death Row. In the Chronic, most of them songs is about Easy.
Right, yeah.
Stuff. Yeah. Or Ice Cube. Look how he got in his ear about Ice Cube. That's how Dre and Ice Cube and Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, they wasn't really beefing. It was Suge. He was a real big manipulator in the days too. Right. That was another one of his larger than life figures, manipulating the situation and controlling it as far as he could. Cause and like I say, Death Row rose to a powerhouse within 2 or 3 years. I mean, they was it. West Coast was just like the South is now. You want to get on, you might have to go to LA.
Right. Yeah, you did. Sure. You had to go to LA.
Man.
You know what I mean? Like before the South came, if you wanted to get on, you had to go to LA or even New York. Either New York or LA, but
you're right. At that time, New York was banging still. Yeah, it was. Bad Boy was doing a lot of noise too.
Yeah, it was definitely New York or either LA. You know, wasn't no in between. You was either on one coast or the other.
Yeah.
You know?
So in walks Tupac. Suge quick gets in his ear about Bad Boys.
Right.
Hey man, Biggie ain't your friend. He the one had you set up. You know, well, that was already an issue with Tupac.
Right.
Thinking Biggie and Puffy had him set up at the Quad Studio. So that was already that Suge didn't really have to press on. But
see, he played on the emotions of that.
Yeah, right.
You know, right. He knew that was he knew that was like he threw fuel on the fire. You know what I mean? So I think it's just coincidental to me that Snoop had just told him to go get him, and it was a perfect ploy for Suge losing his friend to Puff, and then the whole, you know what I mean? Look how that all wove and played itself, and it, you know, it was just an eerie, icky situation to begin with, you know, and
right.
I personally say, you know, since we on that subject and talking about it, I think they had love for him, but at the end of the day, Suge, it was business for him. You know what I'm saying? I think, you know, he was good at making it look like, you know, you my brother and I'm down with you, I love you. I think he had love for Pac, but not more than what he would have for his MOB brother.
Me, Suge had love for the business and the money. He had no love for you. When you bring two gangs together that really hate each other and you can control them, yeah, he had more love for what he was doing and getting out of it than the persons that was in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, look when Dr. Dre left. He went to Dr. Dre's house. Made Dre give up those
his music.
His music.
Yeah. Which, in at the end, which is funny, at the end he gave all that up and then ended up being way more, he almost triple time, quadrupled what, the whole Death Row was even worth. He's worth double.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I think Dre was smart to begin with, though. He was a smart dude as far as that went. Like he, I'm shamelessly plugged that I mold myself after Dre. He was like one of my biggest influences in the game as far as coming up. So.
But got Tupac on there, and it really, Deathrow really put his foot in the cement, man, as making, continuing the domination of the industry.
Yeah.
Tupac along the ride.
Yeah, they talking about stratosphere. They was.
Yeah. But the ride became short-lived that Tupac got killed. Some things like everybody's, wants to say, well, that I thought it was a gang rivalry. No, man. No. If you know your history, and if you really was paying attention to the whole Death Row bad boy thing, you can really, I'm going to tell you straight up, Suge killed Tupac. Period.
Ooh, that's a big, allegedly, we're going to say allegedly because we on YouTube.
Allegedly.
We're trying to get to a certain place, cuz.
Right. But allegedly, no.
Allegedly, Suge had Tupac killed. Now, why do you give that theory?
Well, you got to look at it this way too. Suge was a controller. When Tupac, a lot of people don't know the real thing on Tupac. Tupac wasn't really a tough guy as everybody thought he was. That was a persona he played for the industry. Wow. Something you had to play. Like some of these guys nowadays, like the social media. If we had social media back then, you would really see a whole different Tupac. He really was a whole different, complete guy. It was just the people he had around him and the role he thought he had to play to get his point across. So, fast forward, Suge grabs Tupac. A deal is made. I'll give you a meal for 3 albums. Cool. Pac gets out, immediately start working on the album. Now, what people don't know is this is where the double CD came in at. Tupac was the first to do it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people thought he was doing something for history. No, it was not a history thing. It was trying to get off Death Row real quick.
Cause don't bang the table.
So to do that was, how can I get this man back his money real quick so I'm gonna do my thing? Because Tupac already had in his head he wasn't gonna be at Death Row real long. And I think Suge knew that too. So 3 album deal to get you out with $1 million bail. Bam. Double CD. That counts as 2 albums.
Yeah.
Because you know what the 3rd album was, right?
Yeah, the Machiavelli album.
Right. I was just telling you, see if you knew your history. Yeah.
Boy, I know my history. I'm letting you lead the story. I'm letting you lead the story because I got a whole different version.
Yeah.
Of how I feel, but I'm letting you do your thing.
Tupac get killed because he wants out of Death Row. Because he's really seeing the havoc that is really, it's more havoc now than it was before he got on there. I mean, seeing the havoc that was going through that was going on. You got people like, I caught an interview with rap art, one of the music artists, Danny Boy.
Yeah, I seen
I
some.
personally know him. I personally know him.
I personally know him too.
Yeah, personally know Danny Boy. He bought a restaurant right across the next building over from where I was working at the catering company. He bought a restaurant.
Was Shane? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he bought a restaurant. And Shane became real good friends.
Okay.
Yeah, met him, man, kicked it with him. Oh, man, he's a real cool dude. Never really sat down and talked to him about the Death Row thing, but I'd seen the video, the many interviews he'd done about it. Because he was one of those artists, man, that at the time that Suge found him, he was like 15.
Yeah, he was like 15.
Yeah, and he was, he couldn't really do nothing without a parental guidance, so Suge became his personal guardian.
Yeah.
Took him under wings and everything, and yeah. But the Tupac thing was the ends to the meaning of Death Row. It was the first falling block in Death Row's fall.
To me, I'm gonna disagree. I think the first downfall in Death Row was when he got on stage and said what he said about Puff. That was my first. Yeah, that was it skyrocketed, but it was not. That wasn't a good thing, man. When you're looking at it in hindsight. But no, I still would say even then, Dr. Dre leaving was the first pow to Death Row falling. That was, in my opinion, was the first.
That was a blow, but it wasn't.
You can say what you want. That was one of the most.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Now I'm gonna tell you this much. I will say that Tupac came through and saved Death Row.
Saved it, and when he got killed, was one of the bricks that was pulled out from under him, because that fight at the MGM, and at the time, I never knew that. I never knew Suge was in trouble like he was. Suge was in a lot of trouble, way in between all that, rising up the ladder. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
So that incident at the MGM and Tupac getting killed was the first action on a shot at Death Row. Because when they snatched him up for 8 years. So it put a void on who's running Death Row, because
so I'm finna give you a jewel that you might not know. Reggie Wright Jr.
Right.
He was the head of the security, right?
LA.
Which Reggie had hired numerous crooked cops that were Death Row. If these cops were part of the Rampart District, which if you do the research on them, they are one of the most corrupt police forces in police history, like the Rampart District. And what happened was, I seen an interview the other day, and Suge was saying that Reggie Wright and his ex-wife Shanika or whatever her name is, was conspiring to kill him. They was actually supposed to kill him in that car that night. He was like, it was a hit on both of them. Now he would say it was a hit on him, but Tupac got caught in it. You know what I'm saying? Because they was trying to take over Death Row. Yeah, I gotta find the clip and show you.
Yeah, you gotta find it.
I seen it. I just watched it the day before. As a matter of fact, when we was gonna record and we missed the episode, what was that, a few days ago? I seen when I was doing my research, I seen the video of Suge talking about it, and he was like, Tupac, he was like, Orlando Anderson wasn't the gunman. You know what I'm saying? It was police. It was them police, them Rampart dudes. You know what I'm saying? And it was really a hostile hit on Suge. they were supposed to kill Suge in the car too.
Oh,
So
really?
that's why I'm telling you a different spin of the version of him. I think he had an issue with Pac leaving. Yes, I do think he was jerking Pac and all that other stuff, but I personally don't think, I told you that I don't think he gonna sit in the car with no dude.
Well, I'm gonna give you my version, because I'm a real conspiracy nut when it comes to that. And like I said, I watched the whole thing real close as it went down and get killed. Suge, like I said, him and Puffy had a beef of one of his friends getting killed at a party at Jermaine Dupri's thing. Well, Pac had a beef with Bad Boys 2 about getting shot at Quad Studio.
Mm-hmm.
Snoop, go get Pac, Suge. Pac, Suge does it. Now, in that midst of getting Pac, putting all this together, getting the music out, getting the first CD out, that first CD coming out, there was a discretion between Pac and Suge nobody ever talks about. Mm-hmm. Pac once went to Suge and said he wanted to start his own label. Yeah. Now, I don't know if you watched the movie, but it was in there. When Pac,
I know about it. It was euthanasia. Yeah, euthanasia.
Yeah. Okay.
Hold on. Let me stop you. You are talking to somebody who's vexed in the music industry for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Put some respect on my name to know that I know all this shit. I mean, excuse my
I didn't much respect on your name. I was giving you a conspiracy theory.
No, but go ahead.
Okay. So, Pac and Suge have a meeting. He wants to do his own thing. Gave him them 2 albums. He was working on that last one. Mm-hmm. Suge, being the greediest person he was, didn't want that to happen. That's why he came up with Let Me Deathrow East, which really never happened because Pac was killed. So here it is. Suge trying to figure out how to get back at Puffy. He been thinking about this way before he got with Pac. Like I said, Pac come in, want out now. That's going to hurt him. Because Pac, one of the biggest sellers on Death Row at that time.
Yeah, he saved Death Row. He saved
them. Yeah, you're right. Now, that I give you. He did. He saved them. Mm-hmm. He sure did. He actually upped it one.
Yeah. I mean, he took it to another level, but he saved
he took it to a way another level.
Yeah, they was on it out of here.
So, now you got to look at it.
That's why I was saying, hold on. A side note, that's why I was saying Dre was the first blow, really, of him leaving Death Row. To me, was the first blow to them crumbling. But go ahead.
Yeah, it put a crack in it, but when Tupac came, it kind of sealed that crack up. Kind of got, like you said, got them back.
Well, no, he was still kind of there, though, when Tupac came. Because they did California Love and all that. But I'm saying when he left, that's when I'm telling you, girl, that was the biggest blow.
Like I said, it put a blow in it, but it really didn't. True, it really didn't. Because
we agree to disagree, but Pac held him. But I'm telling you, Dre was a major blow.
Yeah, most definitely.
Their sound, their identity, their everything. Pac solely saved Death Row. Because Snoop wasn't even holding Death Row down.
No, he wasn't.
So
he was just, like I say, was another tape to the holding up the poster.
Yeah. Pac held him. He held him. I give you that. He held him. You
gotta look at it like this. Suge looking at now Pac roll out. That's the end of Death Row for real. But Suge couldn't let that happen, man. He could not let that happen. Mm-hmm. So at the same time of trying to figure out how to keep Pac, and how to touch Puffy, you had to come up with a solution. Because we were so blind at the East Coast, West Coast beef, everybody thought that it was gang related when Tupac got killed. Nah, I seen through that way before. Nah. That was the setup.
All right, so
that was
let me ask you this. All right, let me ask you this then. So let's go here then. So say you should. Now we talking. You ain't Dilla. You ain't the CFO. You Suge Knight.
Right.
And you got Pac. Your artist. Everything that you just said. So you finna get ready to set up a hit, and you gonna jump in the car with him and ride with him. I don't care. Hold on before you give me this whole, because I already know you finna give me this whole marksman and police and they get sharpshooters and all that. But bullets ain't got no name on them. And you don't know where they going. I don't care what. So hold on. Back to my question. You Suge Knight. You finna put yourself in the car, knowing that they finna tear that car up.
Yeah. Because I know who my shooters are. That's the difference that nobody looked at.
Right.
Suge had LAPD on payroll, pimp. It's only 2 people in the world that's the best marksmen, and that's military, and that's police force.
Yeah.
So Suge already knew what he had. He set that up. He knew what was going on.
Allegedly.
He knew exactly.
He allegedly set that up.
Yeah. Now, as it's going on, put it this way. How many drive-bys you done seen and everybody in the car didn't get hit?
I mean, you got.
How many drive-bys have you seen and nobody else in the car but one person got hit?
I've seen plenty of them. People get hit. These dudes be hitting the wrong target and killing little babies and stuff, and stuff like that. So therefore, that's what I'm saying. This is my point of saying, even with a marksman and a skilled shooter, me personally, I guess if I'm Suge, I don't see me jumping in the car. I got so many other opportunities to take this dude out. Why would I wait and sit in the car with him?
And make it look like a gang affiliate hit.
Yeah, but he could have easily sent somebody and poisoned his food and killed him.
You gotta
think, if he can go to the level of getting police to come hit the car, you don't think he got access to send somebody to go put a little something in Tupac drink?
Well, he was trying to kill 2 birds with one stone.
Like he supposedly did with Eazy-E when they said he gave that nigga the shot, the HIV shot.
I never really believe that one, but I'm telling you,
you don't believe that, but you believe it too. Hold on. So let me get this straight. So you don't believe that he would inject this dude with AIDS, but you believe he'll get in the car and sit next to a dude that's going to shoot up the car?
He knew what he had on force. It was a hit, cuz.
Okay,
It was a hit.
But this is what I'm saying though. You can't. Okay, look at it like this too, though, cuz. You can't take into account that them crooked cops might have been working for Reggie Wright and was trying to kill the whole situation.
Man, Suge was the mastermind behind the whole thing. He was even the mastermind behind the Biggie hit. Look at it. It went down the same way as the Tupac hit.
That's what I'm saying, though. I think, I'm still, man, I don't know. Like I said, I'm conflicted. Because at first, I told you, like, when we talked about this at first, I was with you. I was like, I did believe at first that Suge, you know what I'm saying? But then when I started looking at the puzzle pieces and how they play and everything, there could be, you can't eliminate the fact that it could be a hostile takeover. You know what I'm saying? Reggie Wright had access. Hold on. Because the only reason why Suge had off-duty cops working for him is because Reggie Wright hired them. They was working for Reggie, not Suge. You see what I'm saying? They wasn't working for Suge. They was working for Reggie Wright, which Reggie Wright Jr.'s father was the head dude over the gang unit in Compton. So what I'm saying is, I get where you coming from, because I was really heavy on that at first. But then I was really looking at the fact that it is a possibility, because they even took a line from it and put it in Empire. Remember when they was trying to have to take over Empire from Lucius, and it was his people. So I'm just telling you, don't sleep on the fact that hold on. Because here's the question at hand too. Suge didn't make no money when he went to prison, cuz.
Right.
So therefore, what was his point of setting up and doing all that? Don't that kind of seem hold on. Don't that kind of seem like somebody putting him in that position so he can go to prison, so we can run the joint? Because he wasn't running nothing. I'm just saying. But
everybody got their own opinion, but I'm telling you, I watched that whole thing, man, and
I watched it the same way.
Like I said, it really was not a Biggie and Tupac thing. They just got caught up in the middle.
That's why I'm saying. That's why I'm telling you, when I watched the interview with Suge, that was his exact words. He was like, Tupac got caught up in them trying to murder me.
Man, he murdered that man. Period. I ain't going back on that. I'ma stick to
allegedly.
He allegedly.
Because you ain't finna kill our, you're not finna kill our opportunity to make some money. Yeah. Allegedly.
But like I said, everybody got their own opinion. Mine
is allegedly he had
because it's crazy how the two deaths were damn near almost alike.
Right, because off-duty police did it.
Yeah.
So therefore,
in a SUV, as many guys that was in that SUV, and they only hit Biggie. Yeah, that was a little.
I believe that. I'm not going to take away from that theory, but when we get right there, to me, I guess that's where we differ.
I'm going to watch that video you're
looking at it. I see your point. You're looking at it from him having access to the police, so it's easy access to set these hits up and blah, 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 right? And I understand that fully. And I'm just saying, I guess for me, you have to draw the line in the middle and look at it. Look at it. Hold on, let me make my point. And look at it from two angles. And you got to almost say, too, that you cannot rule out the hostile takeover type situation too, because that dude was powerful and worth a lot of money. You know
what made you come up with that? Because I want to see that video you talking about.
I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna send it to
you. What made you come to that conclusion?
What made me come to that conclusion is when I was watching the interview with Suge, who's now broke, who's now messed up, who's now reaping the stuff that he went through and did to people. He's humble now. So he's talking. You know what I'm saying? Whereas at first he wasn't talking. So when he drew up the theory of them doing a hostile takeover and Reggie Wright Jr. having access to them police, I can't rule that out. I can't rule it out because he hired Reggie Wright to run a security.
Yeah, they childhood friends. Did you know that? They was childhood friends. Did you know that?
Yeah.
They grew up together.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to piece myself around is why?
Why?
What's the reason for Reggie want to take over Death Row?
Because it's a $200 million, $300 million company. Maybe. Maybe I don't want to just be the dude who runs security. Maybe I might want to be the man. And I can't be. because this clown is in the way. You're right, they're childhood friends. Mm-hmm. We absolutely correct on that. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, if they childhood friends, then Suge knows how dirty his friend can be as well.
It had to be something that happened between them for that to happen.
I would almost say it possibly could, because I think it almost started with I almost think it started with his ex-wife, Shariko Knight or whatever.
Yeah.
It gets a little bit deep on why I came up with that theory, because like I said at first, I was like, Suge killed, allegedly killed Tupac. I was like, Suge, But then when I started just doing research and then watching videos, watching Danny Boy, and Danny Boy, I watched the video on Danny Boy. He was like, well, the reason why I'm going to say, because the dude in the interview asked him, and he was like, well, I'm going to tell you why I don't think, number one, I was around him like that. I was around him like that. He said, number two, there was a million times that Suge could have had Tupac killed. There was no reason for him to get in the car. See, that's my theory. That's why I was like, there's no reason for him. He was like, man, he could have, there was plenty and many times that he could have had. It was a time that Tupac almost died with him.
Right. So I'm gonna put you on something. I don't think
hold on. Okay. There was a time that Danny Boy specifically said there was a time that they was out in Cancun or somewhere, and Pac was trying to swim to shore and couldn't and was finna drown, and Suge jumped in and saved him. Why would he kill him if he saved him? Why wouldn't he just let him drown in?
It was a lot to it, man, but
he could have let him drown.
I'm gonna give you one video I think you really need to go see. Look at the interview with Pac's bodyguard, Frank. Look at that. You see that?
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it numerous months.
Truthfully. So here's what I'm saying. If it was a hostile takeover, why did Suge instruct Tupac's bodyguard, who's always with Tupac?
Nope, you finna say it wrong. Suge didn't do it. Hold on. Suge didn't do it because Reggie Wright Jr. told them not to have their guns. Not Suge. See what I'm saying?
No. You better look at that again, bro. He said Suge.
No.
I'm saying that.
Hold on. I seen them interviews. Mm-hmm. He said Reggie Wright Jr. said don't have guns on them because something about they couldn't have their guns from California or something in Vegas. I seen a couple interviews where Frank Alexander said it was Reggie Wright Jr. Even what's the other guy's name? It was like they had a plant. The FBI, as a matter of fact, had a plant they sent him in, and he was in with them. And he even said that Reggie Wright Jr. is the one that told them not to have their guns or nothing. Not Suge. That word didn't come from Suge. See what I'm saying? Like, that's why I say we could be all night on this. It's an interesting topic.
After that incident with Tupac, then the Biggie killing, that's when the empire really started crumbling, man. Suge did 5 years on that 8-year bid, came out and never recovered. It was,
I was offered a contract from Deathrow Records before. You know what I'm saying?
For real?
Yeah. So I had the opportunity working with people. I was working with this guy that was working with Sugar Free. Mm-hmm. Remember Sugar Free, the rapper?
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I was finna get ready to work with DJ Quick and all of them. So, in the midst of this, Sugar Free's manager was finna bring me out to Cali or whatever. So they heard the music and everything, and they was interested in me coming out there. So I was about to get ready to actually go out there. He sent over a contract from Death Row, but it was nothing, my name and everything in there, but no budget specified. It was a lot of stuff. It was just like, I ain't finna get ready to sign this deal with you dudes. And I'm not finna get ready to go to Huh?
What year was this?
This was like 98? About 97, in the 97, 98. Yeah, when I was Chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, well, you ain't never told me that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I got so many stories, man. I could tell about stuff that done happen. Yeah, like that's one of them. Another one is, I believe it was Jadakiss and Nate Dogg stole my song. You know what I'm saying? From the same situation, I sent my music to Dude now, and he was playing all the stuff. So on the Hustlers convention, I got song "In Your Life."
Yeah.
This in your life, yeah. And they stole the song. It's a song out called "In Your Life." Nate Dogg on it, singing the hook. Yeah, they stole my joint. You know what I'm saying? They just tweaked it up a little bit, but
Why you think about that? I remember that song because the chorus damn near goes the same.
Put my song on. Yeah, those are jewels that I could drop on people, but I got a story and a half, man. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, but no, like they was awful, but at the time, man, I just didn't think that would be a good move. I was, fortunate enough early in my career to be able to understand bad situations because I started off in a bad situation. So, I was able to peep that. Like, and yeah, that was, yeah. And and then they was definitely on the, they was on the decline to me when they started mimicking, Snoop left. When Snoop left, that was really another major blow to him.
Oh yeah. I think that was one of the bricks that really slipped Death Row down the hill when he left.
Yeah.
Major one, because I think the one that really stayed really loyal to him was Corrupt. Because they say at the time Corrupt was kind of running the label.
Yeah, somewhat.
But
no, your boy and Suge's ex-wife was actually running the label. The two that I said wanted to run it anyway, ended up running it. But she was messing with. So what ended up happening too was his ex-wife, Suge's ex-wife, was messing with one of the undercover cops. Yeah, see, you didn't know. That's why I'm telling you, because it's deeper than what people think of on the surface about Suge. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the off-duty cops, and somehow he ended up murdered behind this whole little situation. It's a deep situation, but that's one thing I feel like we'll never know. At the end of the day, we don't really know who did what. All we know is that a great artist lost his life. Nonsense.
Yeah, two great artists.
Yeah, two great artists. Yeah.
Lost their life behind nonsense.
To nonsense. And this is a perfect example of nonsense at its finest. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that could have been prevented. But I also feel like at the same time, it was for the history books. It was supposed to happen. You know what I mean? Like, we're supposed to learn something from this. But at the same time, too, because I think even if you wanted to go even deeper with the conspiracy theories, we could almost say the FBI had both of them killed so that they could change the tone of the music.
Nah, really, to me, I think the reason why those two cases wasn't solved is the LAPD found out some of their own were involved, and they had to use a smoke screen to get themselves out of the hole. Cause that's the reason why they didn't go deep in trying to find out who really did it.
Here's some funny stuff. Here's another side note that people probably don't know. That Deathrow Records is now owned by Hasbro. If you don't know who Hasbro is, they're a toy conglomerate.
Company.
Yes, a toy company bought Deathrow Records and now owns the whole thing because they got caught up in the merger of who they bought it from. So they like Mattel came in, I think it was Mattel came in and bought the whole joint, and whoever purchased Deathrow at first, that deal got caught in the whole Mattel deal. So now they own the whole thing. You know?
So, what do you
That's
do?
why Deathrow, if you seen that a few years ago, Dre, after everything, like Suge went to prison for the murder thing, you see Dre start trying to sue them to get his stuff. You know what I'm saying? He went back and started trying to sue them again to get his music and stuff because Mattel owned it. So he went at them. You know what I'm saying? Instead of dealing with Suge now. Like the rabbit hole goes real deep. But we at an hour point, man. We need to wrap this joint up, man. We're gonna have to do a part 2 on this because, as you can see, man, it's a very deep,
very touchy subject, and
touchy deep. You could go through many rabbit holes,
right?
Through a lot of different things. Like this springs so many different stories. You know what I mean? So many different legacies and so many different things, and we could be here for 2 or 3 hours. And I don't want to. Wait till the numbers get crazy, then start doing these crazy 2-hour episodes to people. Right now, we still getting the numbers up. So, you know, I just want to do a side note and tell y'all, check this out. Y'all hit the like, either or, like, you can comment, share, or save. I know that's a lot of things. So pick one of those things and do that for your boy, Chaotic One, and the CFO, Hozilla. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get the notifications out so people know that we exist and that we here. You know what I'm saying? This is episode number 2. You take it out of there, brother. You running it tonight.
This is the CFO, Hozilla Platinum Boy Music. This is season 2, episode 5, The Rise and Fall of Deathrow. Man, had a good time. Like, share, comment. We want to see some comments, man.
Yeah, comment.
What do you think of The Rise and Fall of Deathrow?
Yeah.
Give me your opinion. I want to hear your conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Let us hear y'all thoughts. Let us know how y'all feel about what we talked about. You know what I'm saying? This rabbit hole can go very deep. Like I said, we got so much. Like I said, we're gonna have to maybe do a part 2. You know what I'm saying? Like we did women in hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or like I am the Chaotic One. You know what I'm saying? CFO of Platinum Boy Music. Y'all hit us up at www.pbmworldwide.com. That's pbmworldwide.com. You can check out episodes of the podcast. You can see pictures and stuff from our Atlanta Music Showcase. You can check out my EP, Rapperteur CEO. Look for the new project once it's on the way. But that's a plug for Platinum Boy. We on Unspoken Word Podcast right now. So on that note, we out of this joint.
Man, peace.